when you're not ready to change your look.
It's me to the hairdresser every time.
Okay, hi guys. I have been meaning to do this video for a long time now, so this is going to be also an extreme makeover. But every once in a while, I like to do something, that I've already said. I call it like a mini makeover. And it's when I just bring my horse into the wash bay, I get my clippers, and then I start clipping all the hair away that I don't want. I cut the tail nice and straight, I clean up the feet area, and then I go and cut the mane, and I cut it straight. And then I give them a really nice intense wash. And I feel like every horse needs this every like 2 months at least. So just keep them looking like really tidy and fresh. So I want to bring you guys with me as I do this. I've picked up a few little tricks that I like to do to really get the best results for this. And if you guys do have any suggestions of what you like to do, please leave them down below. I would love to see that too. So let's get him in here. Actually, no, let's go like this. I'm going to take his rug off and we're going to do a little bit of a close-up before and after. And we're going to see what we're working with. But let me first take his rug off. Okay.
Wow, look at what we got here.
So, as you can see, I actually gave him a bit of a groom yesterday. But he's very dusty, and you can see that because if you go right up here, this is where like all the dust and stuff gets trapped from the rugs as well. As you can see, I can make that very dirty and dusty very quickly. And then also, if we go into the mane, apart from the fact that it looks already like this, but if you go right into the root, you can see that it's got like a bit of dandruff and it's a bit oily, and that's not really a problem. I think for Chase, he's got quite sensitive skin, so keeping him clean does stop him from rubbing. So we're gonna make sure we get right into that and clean that all up today. So let's get him inside the wash bay, and we're gonna start with the first thing. So let's go, let's do it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the mane nice and straight into the length we wanna have it. Now, I'm not doing this, I want to make this clear, I'm not doing this for the length I would want to have it to plait and stuff like that, even though I think this is fine, and even a little bit shorter is still fine. A lot of people like to thin the mane. Chase hates that, so we're not doing that. We're just going to cut it to our desired length, and what I use for that is a normal brush, and then I like to use a comb like this, and then I like to also use very sharp scissors. Now, the best scissors you can buy, these are the best scissors I have for this kind of jobs. And these are scissors actually used to cut fabric. So like cloths or materials like that, and they're very sharp. And that helps. If you have dull scissors, it makes your life like 10 times harder. So just make sure you have sharp scissors. So let's start with this little part of the little makeover first. So, if you'll join me next to Chase, the first thing you want to do is you want to give the whole mane a nice brush out so you can see where it's gone maybe a little bit uneven or where it's growing. So with Chase, it's not going to be about taking too much of the length off today. It's going to be more about straightening it up again. So that's part of the mane as well, so we've got to cut that. So as we can see now, as I pull the mane down, I can start to see that there's some bits that are longer, some bits that are not. And you really want to make sure that you don't just brush it like this in its natural position. You want to just pull it down a bit, and then that way you'll really see the true length of the mane. So now we can see that it's got a little bit like longer here, a little bit longer here. So we're going to give it a bit of a straightening up altogether. Now the first thing you have to do is you just want to try and get it as straight as possible and as even as possible in one cut. Now this is hard because of the crest of a horse, which means you can't just cut it like this, because it's going to mean that these bits are shorter and these bits are longer. So you kind of have to try and go with it a little bit. So just try and take your time with it, but try and do it relatively quickly all at once. And it definitely helps if you stay still for this. Like this. Don't forget, you can always take more off later. So start slow, and then you shouldn't have any problems. Is it satisfying? A little trick you can do to try and help you is to do this. Try and keep the mane dry, and do this once you've washed the coat so the coat sticks down. That's a little trick you can do to try and help, but it doesn't always, so you do have to be careful. Okay, now, if we take a step back, it looks crazy. I like my manes a little bit long, but not too long. So this is the kind of length I'm gonna keep it to still. Now, if I left it like this, I wouldn't leave the bun. He would just stay here. So now we gotta make it look a little bit more presentable. And so the trick now, and what I like to do, is I get my comb And a lot of people just go at it like this, and that's fine. But I like to see the true length of the hair, and by just going like this, I can see straight away here is the unevenness. So all I do is I start to cut up into the hair. Now, one thing about these scissors, although they're good, they're very heavy, and after a while of like opening them like this, your fingers are gonna feel it. So maybe you have to split this over a few days, and you'll find that the day after you do this and you take your horse out of the stable, it looks very uneven because the hair starts to settle and it starts to go back in the directions it wants to. So for the next few days, just start evening it out. Just start incorporating it kind of like into your normal routine. So we're gonna start, and we're just gonna start cutting into it, just like this a little bit, just so we start to lose that straight line a little bit. And I do have other smaller scissors that I can do this with as well, so I'm gonna get those. So these smaller scissors are much quicker and easier to do this with. So you can see here, I'm focusing also a lot more on taking away the hairs that are longer to begin with. So here we had a few longer hairs. We go ahead and we get rid of those, and then I leave the comb a little bit further up and I do bigger cuts, and that starts to take away that blunt cut we did at the beginning anyway. So you want to try and make it look straight, but a little bit natural as well. You don't want it to look too weird at the beginning. So this is the first day, and this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be a little bit rough, but I promise you, I mean, I'm gonna show you guys, in the next 2 days, we're gonna get it exactly how we want it. It's gonna look perfect for 2 months at least. It's gonna look really good. So for now, this is what we have. We're gonna move on to the rest of the makeover, and then I'm gonna update you guys on this at the end after it's been a few days and it's settled and it's looking much better. But this is a good stuff to begin with now. Okay, so the next step is we're gonna give the face a bit of a tidy up and a clean up with the clippers. Now, we're not gonna be getting rid of the whiskers, but we're gonna be getting rid of all the hair underneath the chin, around the jaw, underneath the throat, and also cleaning up the ears from the outside just a little bit. And I'm gonna just be using a little clipper. It's not very loud, so this helps if you're working around the head, especially if with a horse that isn't good with clipping. Chase is pretty good. Chase is pretty good. He doesn't love having his ears done, but you know, we're just gonna see how it goes today. How do I get this thing off? So we're gonna start on this left side because horses are most used to seeing us on the left. I know Chase is fine with this, but just for you guys at home, maybe your horse is gonna be usually easier on the left, if anything. So the clipper I have has different settings, so I don't wanna go too short. And what I like to do first is I like to get rid of the big stuff. So instead of clipping with the clippers facing against the hair, I hold it just like this, and I start to get rid of the big pieces. So as you can see, it's much cleaner now, and it just defines the jaw and the shape of the face a lot better, looking a lot tidier as well. Good boy.